and she was too young for the dangerous cochlear implant surgery. So this could be dangerous for her because she's playing in the street unsuspecting of a bus. But the bodybuilders have a solution, the nano squid. The nano squid is a microscopic robot that identifies and cures damaged base pairs in nucleic acids, the building blocks of DNA. Go get them. The nano squid can identify and repair damaged base pairs in DNA. It can be injected into a mother's uterus by a swarm into the embryo to correct the genetic anomalies. If the bodybuilder solution had been a reality, things would have looked better for little Susie. If the bodybuilder solution had been a reality, things would look better for the future. Or at least that's what I heard. We researched genetic anomalies in the ear, and we researched the cochlear implant and DNA.
This is the problem for the, so it's the problem.
This is the hypothesis and the solution that we came up with.
This is the nano squid.
We found out that surgery on children is risky, so young children also have to live.
This is how it works, and that's the research, and that's our thing.
That's what you use.
And it's not always a good idea to have a cochlear implant later in life because the learning to speak would be much harder later once you got your cochlear implant.
Sort of like if you're a person that never had legs and then they put legs on you, you wouldn't know how to use them. You'd be like, what are these?
Thank you.
Thank you. We hope you enjoyed our presentations. Do you have any questions?
Yes, we do. Can you start, you guys pointed to the section at which your problem, hypothesis, solution were, but can you actually tell those to us? Can you describe what the squid does, how it works?
So like how the squid works, all the parties, we added lasers. We had lasers, back lasers, front lasers, RF sensor, radio signal sensor, HD Blu-ray camera, brain control, fins, gene capture, and data slot. The data slot is able to connect so that we can get all the information that happened while it was down there.
So your squid, go ahead.
Yeah, we chose the squid basis because like as it flows, it would be much easier to flow through than just like having some big bulky thing that goes ding ding ding. And also, right here, we use conducting liquid. We use two magnetic pulses right here so that when the conducting liquid flows, it automatically
We
pulses
use
by.
magnetohydrogen in our propulsion, which uses an electric field to create a magnetic field that pushes conductive liquid through the magnetohydrodynamic engine.
The nano squids are autonomous robots.
Autonomous robots, is that what you said?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
And there would be thousands of them
Yeah.
injected
And
to
there's
the
just one of
living
them.
because one wouldn't do them all.
Where will they be injected?
What?
In blood.
Yeah.
They use this.
And how do they know where to go?
It would be controlled by a doctor.
That's where the camera comes in.
Generally more than
The camera basically is practically half camera and half like you can see what's going on. It like transports the what the robot scene to the doctor can see it.
Well, nowadays, if you get hurt and the ambulance would come, paramedics, they would have cameras, and the video screen shows the doctors in the hospital will give instructions to the paramedics to tell them, oh, this is what it kind of is.
And so the function of the nanosquid is to identify mutations in base pairs. Tell me more about base pairs. What do base pairs make, and where are they located within the body?
So the base.
In your cells, in the nucleus, is your DNA, and your DNA is made up of nucleotides, which form the base pairs. And A and T go together, C and G go together, and if they don't, it doesn't work. And so, if you have a mutation, when you fix it, then the cells will replicate the fixed gene, and you'll have hearing.
And so, how do the squid are going to have to get out of the blood, into the cell, and through the nucleus, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and how are they going to do that?
Well, many viruses can get into your cell, and using different proteins, because the cell has receptors on the surface, and the viruses activate those receptors and enter.
So you're using a type of viral infection for the squid?
Yeah.
Yes?
At what stage of development are you able to detect that the baby has this genetic problem so that you can get the nanosquids to them at the very, very, very early stage of development?
Well, as soon as doctors detect there's like a baby, somebody's about to have a baby, they quickly inject this. But this has a gene catcher out here at the sides, and these catch the bad ones.
And usually something that forgot to be added in here. We forgot to add this in my picture, but there would be these two huge things on each side. That's where guys usually go in case the claws lose their grip. And which could travel it somewhere else and maybe even make worse things.
Well, would the nanosquids have to get to the little baby before the ear structures are formed?
Yes. Well, technically what they would do is
Because the cells...
All up, one at a time. How about you raise your hand and I'll pick someone?
So technically what they would do is they would take an X-ray version of the mom. They would see which part of the baby is developing. Once that part of the baby is developing, they can inject it to fix that part.
Do any of you know at what stage the ear begins development? Is it like right before you're born, or is it extremely early, right when the baby's like this big? Do you know? Do you have any idea? Did you look at that?
I think it's when the embryo was formed.
Well, when it goes from, like when the embryo is from just a few little cells, right? Like a,
Oh, it starts to develop.
But if you fix those few cells, then the cells that will eventually create the ear will be very good.
I think, I'm not an expert in this, but I think that you're right, in that you have to get to those incorrect DNA before the structure of the ear is already formed, right? If you're going to change the genes, it has to be before they've done their job of making the ear and baby. So you guys are talking super tiny. I'm sure.
The nanosquid was supposed to be injected, so it was. I think it was supposed to be injected to check to see if it has a bad base, bad generic anomalies, and if it does, then it's supposed to fix it. But if it doesn't, it was supposed to check it if it does or not.
I hope you enjoy.
So what does autonomous mean?
Autonomous means like,
Does she know? Chris?
I'm not quite sure, I was not the one who did the research.
Great. That's right.
Autonomous means without being controlled by, it makes decisions on its own.
Because then you mentioned some kind of control over this also, right?
Well, it,
You can tell it where to go in the general area when it needs to be.
So you pre-program that then?
Yeah.
Okay, so we are out of time, but thank you very much for your presentation. You did a great job.
Good job, guys.
Thank you, guys.